I hate talking about the orange vomit. This period in contemporary American history where this filthy bastard Donald Trump was president of the United States is one of the, if not the, darkest periods in contemporary history, political history, any history for that matter. Because this monstrous bastard, with the help of the Christian fascists, attempted to destroy the country. He's the only one who's ever tried to do that. We've had jackasses and criminals and thugs and bums and bastards in the presidency, but never a fascist prick like Donald Trump. So, declaring that, I have to bring the son of a bitch up again, not necessarily him, but what he has done. And it is being reported pretty much all over the place right now. And that is about an hour before the orange vomit announced back in December that the criminal Attorney General William Barr was going to step down as Attorney General. The orange vomit had a little meeting with William Barr's eventual replacement. And this meeting was to pressure the replacement for Barr to have the Justice Department pick up where Barr left off and take up the orange vomit's false claims of election fraud and, by God, find the evidence, even if you had to make it up. Now, according to documents that are now pouring out of this corrupt shithole that was known as the Trump administration, the orange vomit sent an email via his assistant to Jeffrey Rosen, who was the incoming acting attorney general. And that email contained documents, bullshit documents, made up conspiracy horseshit that purported to show evidence of election fraud in northern Michigan. God. Now, these were the same claims, the same bullshit, the same lies, the same nonsense that a federal judge had thrown out a week earlier in a lawsuit filed by one of the orange vomit's fucked up lawyers. I don't know if it was Sidney Powell or Giuliani, but whoever it was, he or she has no business practicing law. And then another email, according to the New York Times, another email from the orange vomit to Jeffrey Rosen came 2 weeks later, again through the orange vomit's assistant. I guess this was the orange vomit's way of thinking, well, they'll never track it back to me. Jesus Christ. And the second email included a draft of a brief that the orange vomit wanted the Justice Department to file to the Supreme Court. And it argued that, among other things, state officials in Michigan had used the pandemic to weaken election security and make it easier for widespread election fraud. You see the depths of depravity that this rotten son of a bitch, Donald Trump, would go to in order to destroy democracy, satisfy his ego, feed his malignant narcissism, and keep him in the presidency. Now, this draft contained bullshit from a lawsuit in Texas by the state attorney general there, who is a Trump fellator and an indicted, he's been indicted on felony charges. But the lawsuit claimed, there were the same claims as in that lawsuit, that the Supreme Court justices had kicked to the curb, said, get the fuck out of here with this. And a lawyer who had helped on that effort later tried with increasing urgency to track down Jeffrey Rosen at the Justice Department. Where is he? Is he in the closet? Is he under this bed? Where are you hiding? Are you in the library? Where are you? And this so-called lawyer kept saying to anyone he could stop in the halls that he had been sent by the Orange Vomit to speak with Jeffrey Rosen. Kind of a desperation move, I guess. And then the emails turned over to the Justice Department, by the way, or turned over by the Justice Department, the new Justice Department, to investigators on the House Oversight Committee, and eventually obtained by the New York Times, as they should be. These emails show how the Orange Vomit tried to pressure Jeffrey Rosen to put the executive power of the Justice Department behind these bullshit lawsuits that had already failed, to try to prove the Orange Vomit's bullshit claims that all sorts of voter fraud had cost him the election. Oh, the poor man, the poor Donald Jesus Trump. Oh, my goodness sakes. Now, this crap, this is the latest example of the Orange Vomit's attempt to subvert, destroy, overturn election results in various states in the last few weeks of his rotten, useless, in a positive sense, presidency. And including, of course, ratcheting up the pressure on the Justice Department. But the Times reports that these emails also show that the Orange Vomit ignored an established anti-corruption norm that the Justice Department should act independently of the White House on criminal investigations or law enforcement actions. And that was an established norm agreed to by presidents throughout history, that Donald Trump said, fuck that. The man works for me. This is my Justice Department, my military, my cabinet, my this, my that. So these documents that have recently been released coincide or dovetail, you might say, with emails around the same time that were sent around the same time from this rotten, traitorous dog, Mark Meadows, who at the time was the Orange Vomit's chief of staff. And those emails from the traitorous Mark Meadows insisted that Jeffrey Rosen go ahead and investigate these conspiracy theories about the election, including a conspiracy theory. I mentioned this last week, a theory that claimed that people associated with an Italian defense contractor were able to use satellite technology to tamper with U.S. voting equipment all the way from Europe. Kind of like Marjorie Taylor Q-Bitch Green's statement of Jewish-operated lasers causing fires in California. These fucking people are insane. You do understand that, don't you? Truth seeker. Now, much of this latest eruption of bullshit correspondence occurred during a bad week, if you are interested in constitutional law, a bad week within the Justice Department. That was when Jeffrey Rosen and his top deputies realized that one of their peers, somebody in the highest levels of the Justice Department, had plotted with the Orange Vomit to get rid of Jeffrey Rosen and then try to use federal law enforcement, U.S. Marshal Service, something, to force the state of Georgia to reverse its election results. And Trump almost, that filthy son of a bitch almost was able to replace Jeffrey Rosen with this other traitorous piece of human waste, Jeffrey Clark, who at the time was the acting head of the civil division of the Justice Department. Talk about corruption. There has never, in the history of this country, ever been anything like this. Never. And we better make sure it doesn't happen again, because if a lump of shit like Donald Trump, either him or he or someone similar to him, ever gets close to the Oval Office again, then everything that is being unveiled now, being shown to the American public now, will have been to no avail whatsoever. We have got to pay attention to the criminal activity of this rancid son of a bitch and make sure it never happens again with anybody, least of all him. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.